Hey there, it's the editor. Just wanted to let you know we are aware there are some technical issues in this episode, which does make it so that Vagabond's mic at times does cut out. Unfortunately, it's not something we're able to fix post, but we did want to share this interview with you because we thought that Mustache was a really great guest. Vagabond did a really great job, and we did not want to keep this from the world. Hopefully, you guys will still enjoy, and we hopefully will have this one fixed for you by the next episode. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Melon Patch. We have a very special treat for you guys here tonight. We do have Talk of the Patch. I believe this is week 5 or week 6. I'm not entirely sure. Forehead. Anyway, we right before we get into our guest is a very special guest. If you see it in the stream title right below you, we're just gonna get into some MPG news. Let's see. So some roster transactions. We only have one for this week. We have Dead Dry Bones is now part of Sky High Flyers. Lord Chad, or Chad Chaddington, as you guys might know him, has officially back on the roster. Going to be playing in the next IGL circuit. Sky High Flyers. So can't wait for them. Fortunately, all Melon Patch teams have been eliminated from the playoffs. It's very sad. There's always next circuit. Nothing to worry about right now. Everybody's going to bounce back and be 1,000 times better than they were. We're currently looking for Apex Legends players, guys. If you know an Apex Legend player who's an Apex Predator or higher, I know that's kind of like the GC in Apex Legends. Definitely send them to the Melon Patch. We're going to try them out. We are looking for Apex Legends. MPG is going to be having a showcase match with Circuitry Gaming on March 5th. In fact, I could probably read off those matchups real quick. I lost it. No. There we go. All right, yeah, it'll be March 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern. It will be Melon Patch Gaming versus Circuitry Gray. Circuitry Gray versus Cantaloupe Coop. Circuitry Blue versus the Crenshaw Crew. Circuitry Black versus Jack Guys. Circuitry Purple versus the Sky High Flyers. That is going to be a very fun night. Make sure you tune in again. March 5th. That is 8 p.m. Now, and who needs no introduction? However, we will be introducing him. He is beloved in the IGL community and all over Rocket League in general. He is a caster on the up and coming. Guys, if you don't know him, get to know him. Please help me welcome.
What's up, everyone? How's it going?
All right, Mustache. So you are a freelance caster. They're on the screen. How did you get into casting? Or actually, wait. Let's pause. Let's not get into that just yet.
Okay.
Mustache, who are you? Where are you from?
Who am I? What is the mustache? That's the big question, isn't it? So I am a 32-year-old husband and father to my beloved son who is currently sleeping. But outside of Rocket League, outside of sport or outside of esports, I am a master electrician by trade. So I've been doing it for about 13 years now. Got into it quickly out of high school, and yeah, now I'm basically, when I'm not in charge of a broadcast or trying to host or trying to cast or something, I am in charge of multi-million-dollar job sites, getting their electrical done, anywhere from a small McDonald's all the way to some of your biggest office buildings you see in your downtown area. I'm currently located in the Indianapolis, Indiana area. So definitely the surrounding area, that's where we work and stuff like that. But I've been in all kinds of different electrical equipment, and I can promise and say, knock on wood, that I've only been shocked a handful of times. So I think I got a good track record.
Wow. All right. Well, I currently do like low voltage cabling.
Okay.
Actually doing it. I kind of know what you do, but you
Yeah.
do it on a much larger. Along that ladder, you're. So yeah, I don't like, guys. If you guys know anything about electricity, hey, especially one that's in it for. Don't doubt them. If they say there's an electrical problem with their house, he's right. He is definitely
Right.
right about that. Um, yeah. So you're an indie local. You're familiar with like area like IGL, and did that start in Indiana? That just kind of something you did on.
It was actually really interesting. So the way it started for me, and I have been around IGL since its inception. Like literally, there was, and this is kind of how the story went. So Kyle or Smash started it originally, I believe, with his brother, and there was the I don't even remember how I got on a website called Meetup, but I got up on there, and they were like, "Hey, we want to host a Rocket League event, and it's going to be at a local land center that sadly enough is now closed. But we're going to have this event, and it's going to be this little Rocket League tournament. And how, depending on how many people show up, that's how big it'll be, and blah 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 blah." I'm like, sweet. I just got into Rocket League. I was like Diamond 1 at the time. And I was like, yeah, I think this is 2016 or 17. So like I'm fresh into Rocket League. And so I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I'll meet some new people. And I go, and I believe Zingor was there. Um, Tina was not there. It was Kyle. And then a few other players that I don't even recognize. And I'm not even sure if they're still around here in the scene. But we played. It was like 10 of us that played. It was ended up being a 1v1. I made it like out of the first round. I didn't make it to the second round. I think it was single elimination. But we did that, and they at the end of it were like, "Hey, we want to have like an RLCS type of league. Would you be interested? If you guys are, leave your emails and stuff and we'll get back with you." I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. This would be sweet, dude. Like I would love to have a more local scene to get in with Rocket League." Goes quiet. Don't hear nothing. I'm like, oh man, that was a great idea. And nothing happened from it. Well, then all of a sudden, almost I'd say maybe a year after, I get an email from uh Kyle and now T now saying, "Hey, we're gonna have it at our house. Would you want to come and do another Rocket League tournament?" I'm like, heck yeah, man, this is gonna be awesome. And get to see the guys. So I show up, and it's at T Now's house, and I forget where it was, but we're there. There's about 20 of us. Again, Zingor shows up, then Man of Vault shows up, Sunless shows up, Sunless Khan. At the time, I think he was 70,000 subscribers, if that. And I hate to say it, but at the time, I had no idea who he was. Like everybody, like people are walking up to him, even in Tina's house, and there's only 20 of us. We're all drinking beers and just having fun playing Rocket League. And everyone's like, "Man, I saw your most recent video. I saw your and I'm just sitting back like, who is this guy? I don't know who he is. Like I just got into the scene. I'm a huge Call of Duty player before that. And I'm like, oh, I don't know who you are. So I was just like, hey, what's up? Sunless, whatever. And at the time I didn't have any teammates. Like I said, I was coming in new, didn't know too many people playing the game. And so we ended up doing a 2v2, and Tina was like, "Hey, party up with this guy, and uh we'll do a 2v2 matchup." We had like multiple Xboxes and everything like that. That's how we did it. And it was upstairs, downstairs. We play the tournament. Me and the random teammate that I party up with end up getting to second place against none other than, of course, Sunless Khan and Man of Vault. So we play, we end up losing, we get second place, and we all put like $20 in, so they took the money. And that was what we now call the Rocket League Rampage. So if you ever hear Tia now talk about it, that is like the first event that IGL hosted, was a LAN event at Tina's house called Rocket League Rampage. Sunless takes the cake. And that was the point that I became the mustache. Obviously, I had the mustache at the time, but the team name that we came up with, the guy, the partner I had was like, "Hey, what's our team name gonna be?" I'm like, "I don't know." He goes, "How about the mustache?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, that's fine." I went by another name in video games before that, so I was like, "Yeah, sure." Well, after the event, everybody loved it. Everybody got a kick out of it. I'm like, "Man, I'm gonna play off this mustache thing. I'm gonna keep this going." So that's where I quickly went out and started, looking for logos to get made and branding and all that stuff. And then from there, after the event, they were like, "Look, we are going to get into this IGL league. We want to call it Indie Gaming League. We want to start this. And then those same 20 people turned into about 40. And the first season, it was a summer circuit, started IGL, and it went from there. And I've been with them ever since. But then getting into casting, uh, we did a LAN event for Reboot LAN. It was somebody else hosted it. We all showed up, a bunch of us from IGL, and IGL hosted a Rocket League tournament. And Tina was like, "Hey, I think we made it to the semifinals again, or grand finals." But he was like, "Hey, you've got some downtime. Come sit down and cast this match with me." And Tina showed me the picture the other day, and it's crazy to think like that picture was the very first time I cast it, and from there, I was bit by the bug, and I'm like, man, I want to cast more. It's a lot of fun. You just get so much more excitement from it. And I will tell anybody that comes by my stream, I will play, I'll do whatever on my stream. But when it comes to casting, I'd much rather do that than ever play the game.
And that's kind of how I've been feeling about it lately. Casting, there's kind of nothing like it. You get to put on a show, bring out, that creative side of you, really broadcast that. And the way that I actually got casting, I went to college in Louisiana to LA, which is LSU of Alexandria, basically satellites. Basically, take like Cortland, like the big school, big state school. The other is soon relative there. LSU Alexandria, LSU, the LSU. So that's kind of how I got my start there. I started casting soccer, and I actually applied to IGL with my soccer and basketball video. I had a editor from LSUA put together a montage, and Tina emailed me back, was like, "Nah, dude, Rocket League." I was like, and I was like, "All right." So I reached out because I wanted to cast Rocket League, as a joke, and then cast it. I actually sent that clip. Now, yeah, well, in your and I've been IGL trying to do most of that. Oh, speaking of casting, so that's how you got started into. That was in 2017.
I believe the first time, so with the yeah, that was the first time I casted, but then even that reboot lane that we did, in fact, it may have been 18. That was before the community caster program started. And so remember, at the beginning of IGL, it was T Now and Smash every broadcast. And they couldn't, because they went full time, and they didn't have enough time to run the league as well as cast it. So they opened up the community caster program. I think there was like 5 of us that signed up. And I was like, yeah, dude, I want to be on board with this. And yeah, from there it just blew up, and I have done it since the community caster program has been around. I have casted every season since then, and I think now it's been going 2 years consecutively. So 2000, so it's 2021 now. So it may, yeah. So 18 must have been the reboot land, and 19 was when I started casting.
That's crazy. Think of IGL, and it's this huge thing with thousands of people inside of it, and it started at a LAN event
Yeah.
somewhere in Indiana,
Yep.
and now this is brought into it. YouTuber got over. I mean, that to me is crazy. The way I found IGL was actually through on this video, because he said, I remember him specifically saying, "Do you want a place where strong community, always looking for casters, players, whatever?" And I heard casters, I was like, I want to keep casting. I haven't done it since Atlanta, so I picked up my mic, and that's how I really got started into Rocket League. It's always great to see, especially someone like that side. Yeah,
Yeah.
and just see someone that side supporting. something that is not a startup, but it's very small in comparison to someone of his size.
I think there was a video, the very first video he ever put up a shout out to IGL. I was a moderator at the time, and all of a sudden we just had this influx of players. We were like, "Whoa!" So you're like, "You're gonna have to give us a heads up." Because it was just insane the amount of outreach that he had, and at that time, I think maybe he was not even to 500,000 subscribers. So he's still, reached out to so many because he's been giving shout outs and he's been, around the scene as long as I have. So he's been hanging out, and I know I don't think he actively plays it as much anymore, but yeah, I mean, he was doing it back to back seasons every single time, and every time a new season started, he threw a shout out.
That's really awesome. Considering we're now, that's awesome that you got to meet him in person.
Yeah, yeah. You're everyone's
Even if you had no idea who he was,
I
that's
had
pretty
dude, I
awesome.
felt so bad. I'm like, "Who is this guy? I don't know who this is." Everyone's like, "Son." I'm like, "I wish I knew."
So mustache. What what did get you into Rocket League? And you went to that LAN event, and just when you were getting into Rocket League, what kind of like did you see a YouTube show where you? What kind of happened there? Where you Rocket League?
No, actually, it was a buddy of mine. He was playing it on PC. He didn't play it on PS4 or didn't play SARP, but he was playing with his buddies. And he's like, "Man, I really think you enjoy it." And like I said, I was an avid Call of Duty player. Like I was doing Black Ops 2 tournaments. I was, basically free for all events. I was not with a team or anything. I was just any free for all event I could find, I was a part of it. And I was basically just playing Call of Duty constantly. That was the game at the time. And then Rocket League comes out. It's PS4, PC for a while. I didn't have a PC. All I had was an Xbox. And he was like, "Hey, you need to play this. Like, I think you'd enjoy it." Well, then they released the Xbox version. And I'm like, "All right, $20, I'll play the game." And I played it and I was hooked instantly. I'm like, "Dude, like the ranking system was perfect." And you kind of see the big bellyache with Call of Duty players now and the Call of Duty scene right now is the skilled based matchmaking and stuff. Hey, that needs to be there so you're not constantly getting clowned on by these pros or these pro streamers or whatever like that. So to have Rocket League have such a baseline for it right out of the gate. I mean, it was still considered a brand new game, brand new idea. I think it was even considered maybe even a beta back then. And to have that competitiveness and the fact that you could play a game for 5 minutes and be done and not have to,
Right.
throw 15, 20 minutes into a game and then lose and be like, "Oh my gosh, like that was a waste of my time. Why did I do that?" Rocket League, yeah, you could lose the game, but 5 minutes and you're like, "Dude, I need to play another one. I want to get better at it." And you just kept grinding and grinding and grinding. And it was so crazy. And I started in the April of 2016 on Xbox. Or no, I'm sorry. I started February 2016 of on Xbox, and by April of 2016, my birthday was coming up, and I'm like, I'm buying a PC. I cannot, Xbox was a good start, but everybody was playing on PC. You had the better settings and stuff, and I'm like, I can't be on the tail end of this. I need to switch to PC. So bought a cheap gaming PC, like 500 bucks, budget you'd find on like Best Buy or something like that. I was like, I just need something to play Rocket League. It's not a very extensive game as far as resources go. So I played it, and literally it's been Rocket League from day one ever since. I can't put it down. I've played Apex, I've played other games in the meantime, but at the end of the day, I shut everything off and then go right back to Rocket League. It's just that constant grind, and there's always something new to learn. There's always something new to it. Even though, I mean, the game has been around for forever, it feels like, 2015. And there's not Rocket League 2, 3, 4, 5. Call of Duty comes out with a game every new year
Right.
because Activision wants money. Um, before Fortnite, everybody released a new game every year. That was kind of the way to go. And then they came out with a single game and just you built it, I forget what they call it, like a development of services or something like that. And now we've got this Rocket League game that's been around for what now, 6 years. And it's the exact same thing. Nothing has changed. Yeah, you've added cosmetics to it, but it's bare bones the exact same game since the day I started 2016. And I'm still as hooked as ever.
Feel like that's the thing that Rocket League players, especially the higher level players, they like to not boast, but kind of like be like, well, you have to learn a new game every year and playing the same damn game for 5 years. And
Right.
I kind of like I agree with that. Sometimes it is nice to kind of put Rocket League down for an hour or two and hop on a call game or a couple Apex games. But ultimately I do find myself just turning on Rocket League again and again and again. And because I read something somewhere where battle royales in Rocket League have the same, like, it's a mental like the dice roll effect or the casino effect, where every time you lose, you were that close to winning, and you just keep going back. It's like it's the same mental thing that you get when you're in Vegas
Right.
and you're playing the roulette table and you bet on the black 18 and instead it lands on the red 18 on the black 17 right next to it. Oh, I almost had it. Let me do it again. That kind of thing.
Oh,
Same exact effect. And a lot of battle royales have that. Rocket League has that. And like you said, it's not a Call of Duty game like a hardpoint game. It just on and on,
right.
you know, and you lose 250 to 242, and you're like, well, I just wasted 15 minutes of my time to lose by 8 points.
Yeah,
It's that
exactly.
kind of thing. But Rocket League, like you just said, for overtime games, 5 minutes done. 5.5 minutes later, you're in a new game.
Right.
I feel like that's why Rocket League is, and I think Rocket League down as one of the best video games of all time, and especially at the time only being $20, especially now being free. It had a solid game, a developer cared about producing a good game. It was $20. Didn't like it, you're not gonna starve, but you don't like the new Call of Duty, you just bucks.
Right.
That's free Rocket League.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's bring it back to your casting. Um, you did some RLCS work. That work. What did you do?
So, yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, I have been on in fact the entire winter split. I was in charge of the Susquehanna Sonics' run through the grid, as well as basically in January when we came back from the winter break. I was on the tail end of the Dignitas grid run as well. So I was in there with LeafX, and we did weeks 3 and 4 for Sonics. I did all 4 weeks, and yeah, it was a ton of fun. I also did 2 weeks with the Sonics in the fall. That's really where it started, and that was like the first push into the RLCS. Was the general manager at the time for the Sonics was kind of ill. He had an infection and he couldn't broadcast anymore. So he reached out on Twitter and was like, "Hey, I need some casters. Who's available to kind of help out?" And I threw my name out, and I actually wasn't even the first one picked. And I was just like, oh man, kind of missed the opportunity. It is what it is. Well, the person who ended up filling in either couldn't do it or something came up. And so he needed to go to the next one down the line. And he reaches out to me and he goes, hey, I need somebody for, I think the first week I did was week 4 in the fall split. And he was like, hey, would you still be willing to come on and help? And I'm like, heck yeah, I'll come on and
Yeah.
help. So, I get on there and you're casting against other pros and stuff like that, and it was a ton of fun. And then I did a week, after that week 4, they had a few other people come on and did some stuff internally. And then like week 8 came around and they were like, "Hey, we need you back. Can you help out again?" I'm like, "Well, of course I'd come back. So did week 8. It was a lot of fun. And then at the beginning of the winter split, they reached out to me directly and said, "Hey, would you be interested in, not only casting, but actually, running the show?" And I was like, "Heck yeah!" So did the whole winter split with the Sonics as well as that tail end with Dignitas. And then I've done a couple Pittsburgh Knights events as well, and I've done some other casting too. Women's Carball, I've helped out with their stream or with their casts on their preseason for this current season that they have. Um, I've done I've done them, and then I was yeah, I said Pittsburgh Knights. I'm trying to think if there's one other one. Uh, Nashville Rocket League series is another one. That's a smaller league, but still a lot of fun. So yeah, a bunch of different opportunities that have kind of presented themselves, and it's just been a whirlwind. I take every opportunity. I try to reach out and everything, but it's crazy to think because, like I said, the Sonics one, somebody was ill and they needed help, so I reached out to them. Dignitas was, I think this is how it happened. Is one of the um, esports directors or content directors for Dignitas just reached out on Twitter and said, "Hey, who is your favorite up and coming Rocket League streamer?" And one of my followers on Twitter was like, "Hey, Mustache, vouch." And all of a sudden, they looked over my VODs on my stream and they were like, "Hey, yeah, we want to." Or they looked over my Liquipedia page and looked on my Sonics grid matches that I did, and they go, "Hey, we really liked what you did with the Sonics. Would you be willing to come out and help out for the last 2 weeks?" So just goes to show anybody that whenever you see those things on Twitter where it's like, "Hey, I vouch for this guy." Yeah, it all seems like good and fun and everybody wants to vouch, 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 but you be surprised on how, those vouches actually help out people.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. I was gonna you kind of did answer my next question, how a caster can kind of stand out as a caster rather than just having a good voice. Obviously, that's very important. But how can a caster kind of stand out besides having that good voice? Pretty fake.
It comes down it's hard to say because there's so many. Just look over the different RLCS casters that we have, whether it be the A stream, B stream, C stream, grid matches. Because like myself and a few others for some of the other orgs that may not be as big as, let's say, Envy or Space Station or anything like that. They get some of the casters that are still up and coming, because the I will say that those opportunities are paid opportunities. So some of the smaller orgs or maybe teams that don't have an org backing, they still want to pay the casters, but they may not have the same, type of wallet that maybe Dignitas or again NV Space Station Rogue. Um, NRG. So you you have such a plethora of casters already in RLCS, and then you get the grid where then you get to showcase and be in charge of the broadcast for some of these guys, including myself, and you get to do different things. So it's hard to say, why is one person better than the other. Hopefully you can come down with great analysis, or maybe you are better at play by play. Like for me, I've always been a somebody that to say that, in my eyes, I feel I'm better with play by play than color commentary. I On a few streams, I've tried to, kind of up my color game as much as possible, because you get one opportunity, and you kind of work with the if you have a co-caster on the hand, you're like, "Hey, what are you good at?" "Oh, I like to do play by play." "Okay, well, that means I'll do color or something." Or you try to work out, well, sometimes you might work with a person and they're like, "Look, I have to do play by play." So then that means if I'm play by play, or I think I'm good at play by play, they are obviously wanting play by play. You either got two options. You can do a hybrid type of cast that you kind of see on RLCS, where both casters will do a little bit of play by play and then they'll fill in some color as well, and then kind of bounce some, banter between each other. Or you do the hardcore, you are play by play, you are color. And, if I am on color, then I've got to up my game. So say, okay, this caster is better than this person, it comes down to personal preference. Maybe my analysis isn't as great as a few others that I've casted with, and I'll be the first one to say, or after a cast, I'll be like, man, I really butchered that analysis right there, or something like that. And you just kind of think about what you said, and try to come off, not ranting as much. But you try to work on those little things here and there, and hopefully it works out. And you just kind of work on all of it to see if that will help out. And then, hopefully your demo reel or VODs or anything like that will be enough whenever an opportunity does present itself, that they look it over and they're like, yeah, they do like, how your humor, or they do like, how you talk, or how smooth you talk, or your play by play is just spot on. You can see the play happen before it happens, or color, you broke down that play fantastic compared to maybe me, who wouldn't be that great. And it's just you continue to work on it. I feel like I grind casting just as much as I would, to play Rocket League itself.
Right, I feel like I actually have found myself casting more than playing, and my MMR definitely shows that. But 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 yeah, guys, if there are any casters in chat, take it from Mustang. Been casted with, like you said, Ignitas and the Sonics. I think I was actually scrolling Twitter and the Sonics were live, and I tuned in. I'm like, is that the mustache? And I was like, no way is he with the Sonics right now. And that's how I actually learned you were doing RLCS. And like, it wasn't like announced to me that I
Mhm.
heard you. God, that's. And then they went to. I think there was some kind of analyst screen. Oh look, there, there he is. But anyway, yeah, guys, casters in chat, take it from Mustache. He's been there. He's used so many different things as stepping stones, to kind of get to where he is now, cast for the splits and for the grid. And there's so many opportunities. I'm trying to look outside of IGL a little bit, for this opportunity. Obviously, IGL. In my personal opinion, the greatest amateur platform that a caster can have right now. If there's any better ones out there, you guys can let me know. But as far as I know, IGL I think is top one for amateur casters who are just getting started. They're a great beginner.
Oh yeah, IGL has been fantastic. It helped me build my brand. It helped me build my casting ability. Like I said, I've been doing it for ever since they started. And on Twitch, I had very few followers. My average viewers was low. Once I started casting, that started building up. People started noticing me, and it's because I've been doing it so long in IGL that you do get those, followers on Twitter. They're like, Mustache vouch. I love his casting and stuff like that. So it's so great to have it. And um, there are some things in the works that will help casters, get their foot in the door for opportunities. Right now, it is all about who you know in the scene. You can ask any caster, whether it's the top of RLCS or whether you're at the bottom. How do you get your foot out in the door? How do you find more opportunities? Sadly enough, it's who you know, or cold DMing, or messaging, or waiting to see somebody on Twitter say, "Hey, we need a caster," and you're like, "Okay, I want to be there." So it kind of is disheartening, because there's so many of us out there, not just trying to get to the RLCS level, but just to get on some of these smaller events that may be taking place. You want to try and get your foot, and get in the booth as much as possible. So you just try to reach out to any and all opportunities. Now, I will say personally, I don't reach out to every single one of them. And thankfully, a few Twitter followers would be like, "Hey, Mustache, did you see this?" And then I'll, reach out. But like I said at the beginning of all this, I've got a full-time career, I've got a family. I can't be on Twitter or on the game or
Right.
on Discord 24/7. So thankfully, there's been people who have looked out, and huge props to you guys out there. You know who you are, um, for saying, "Hey, Mustache, these people were looking for a caster." do you have the time for that? And I'll reach out to it. And if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. But I know in the back of my mind right now, literally as we speak, somebody is building something that is going to help all of us get our foot in the door for different opportunities and kind of be a centralized location where TOs can come in and once this idea comes off, because I've kind of been behind the scenes with it and everything, it's going to be a huge breakthrough, and it's good to be good to see because if you look across Twitter or anything right now, there's like two agencies for casters. One of them being Character Select Agency. They actually host a lot of our, I say a lot of the RLCS casters. They all are kind of working underneath them, and so they can kind of reach out. That agency will reach out and try to find X caster an opportunity. But besides that, all of us, the rest of us, we just have to hunt it down. And I think here within the next year, we may be the ones who are getting looked at rather than us having to go out and look.
Right. I feel like the being a caster has kind of like that I'll say the community of casters or the amount of casters that have kind of popped up over the past a year and a half, as long as I've been doing it, has expanded so much, and just so many people are wanting to get into casting. And I think with that, there's going to be a lot of kind of stars in the making. You'll get this one kid who's an insane caster, but he's casting for a channel that has viewers, and players aren't that great. But someone, I don't, an Alpine manager somewhere might see it and say, "Hey, this kid's real good," and he'll be hosting the next weekly tournament for that. His
Right.
stepping stone. But I think just with the amount of casters that are popping up all over the place, also makes the market for someone like me who's very small, very competitive, very competitive. I'm averaging, I would say, 7 to on Twitch, which is more than I've ever had. I'm not dropping, but there are also casters who are averaging 35, 45, 50 viewers, and look at a Twitch feed, they're going to be the ones popping up first.
Right.
So, like you said, just honestly, cold DMing teams and organizations, right? Help, obviously, guys, on Twitter, help out your favorite casters.
Yeah.
It
I'm
doesn't have to
serious.
be. It doesn't have to be me. It could be Woos. It could be Hyperia. It could be Tankert. It could be anyone. It could be Abacus. Just if you see an organization looking on Twitter, and let's say the tweet has 10 replies and none of them are vouching, vouch for your favorite caster. It could be anybody. It could be Tino. It could be Smash. Vouch for your favorite casters. Definitely help them out. Help out your friends. And it's it also means a lot because we know that you have our backs, and you're looking out for us. It really does help us, and we appreciate it more than anybody knows. Kind of, I would say it's the same feeling as getting a follow or a sub on Twitter.
Oh, definitely.
You see your name next to the word vouch, and you never know who's gonna see it. That's the whole thing with Twitch. You never know who's gonna see you. There's think of what's his name, Jordy 2D. Tim the Tapman saw his TikToks, and now Jordy 2D is playing in front of, what was it, 50,000 viewers Tim had
Yeah.
that night. Like, that's crazy. You never know who's gonna. That to me is just more reason doing it, and have your community looking out for you. So I believe that's going to take us to the end of the show. Are there any questions that you?
Uh, no. I mean, how long have you been with Melon Patch, and what is your official title? Like,
So I joined Melon Patch. I believe it was June 17th, 2020. I actually looked back at the join log yesterday just because I was curious, and that's kind of when I got here. I was actually invited by Corky, Trippy, and World, who were formerly known as HNC, and because I had casted one of their games for a different tournament. I Someone said, I forgot who it was. It was either Ewok or one of the three HNC guys. said, "Hey, come check out the Melon Patch. They're looking for casters." And I joined and I messaged Woos. And at the first impression I got of Woos was this overbearing owner who's like trying, trying to run a tech ship. Then I got
Right.
into a call with him, and he's Woos. We all know Woos, but
Yeah.
I had never watched a Melon Patch stream. I had never watched anything from Woos, and his name on Twitch was still Woos RL. He had, and then that was in June, and then in July he officially became, or he officially turned into. That's when we had our Gods of the Patch tournament. That a lot of cats there for that. A lot of cats, a lot of teams. But my title here at Melon Patch is just caster. I'm a coach for Crenshaw Crew. Um, I am also they are the guys formerly known as H&C. So they kind of turned me into their coach, and then I'm the host here. It was Son of Nell 1. You would actually be talking to him now, but currently at college with he's at Wagner College, and his school's internet is absolute dog water. He can't. He said he tried a test stream on his own channel, and oh boy, it
He's got to
was
use that
bad.
Taco Bell internet.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I got my start with Melon Patch. I was actually a part of. I got into IGL a little bit after Melon Patch. I joined after a circuit because that ended in August, I think, like late August, and I was there for the fall circuit. And I've been with IGL since. I've had my ups and downs with IGL. I did get removed from the program because I didn't post times, but actually worked it out with T now. Hey, oh, life, and
Right.
then no problem, looking me back, and then from there I've been consistent trying to get 3 to 5 games a week. Yeah, it's been smooth sailing. That's kind of how I got into Melon Patch and how I got into IGL. Is
Right.
there anything else you wanted?
No, not off the top of my head. No.
All right, so that's gonna bring us to the end, guys. In chat, do you guys have any questions for us? I do see that Legit Titan rated us with a party of one. Legit Titan, we do appreciate that of the raids. The chat
He's always lurking out there.
always. So chat, if there's no questions, not sure if there's going to be, that wants to give any comments. Also, make sure that you guys check out the podcast, not the podcast, montage on tomorrow o'clock. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. Make sure you guys check that out. That will be on the Melon Patch YouTube. It will be posted all over our social. Be on the lookout for that. Follow Mustache. You see it on the screen right there. It is the Mustache TV across all social. Check him out. An amazing caster if you want your game casted by him. Here and I. Mustache, any closing comments?
Yeah, first off, thanks for having me. It's been fun. I always like talking Rocket League and talking casting. So if there's anybody who ever has any questions, please reach out. Discord. It's like he said, it's the Mustache TV on every single social out there. So either A, I'm not on the social, or B, uh, it's gonna be that. So those are the only two. But other than that, um, excited to see what the spring circuit will bring with IGL. Of course, we've got the spring split that's coming for RLCS. Um, I don't want to give away anything. You'll just have to tune into the Sonic stream if you want to see if I'm going to be back for the spring split. Same thing with Dignitas and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. No one really knows what the spring split is going to bring as far as format and stuff like
Right.
that. Rumors are supposedly saying that there might be a little bit more broadcast time for the grid for the spring split. Remember, in the fall split, it was a 9 week. Um, each and every week, 9 weeks straight. For the winter split, it was 4 weeks, 2 days in those weeks, and then it was split between the winter break because of so many different holidays. So no one really knows besides, Psionics and RLCS esports or RL esports themselves about what the spring split is going to be, we probably won't find out until the end of this week when the North American major is over. So you guys will just have to, go follow Dignitas on Twitch. It's just Dignitas. Sonics is Sonics Events. And then I also show up on a few Pittsburgh Knights streams as well. So go, I believe it's Knights GG on Twitch. So go follow all those. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter. That's where you'll find out any new information about me. But other than that, that's it.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is the mustache. We thank him so much for coming out. That's going to be it for me. Follow me on Twitch. You see it right below me at VagabondTV _. It is the same on Twitter. Definitely go check me out. I will be live this weekend. I do have a game already scheduled for 6 o'clock on. If you're an IGL player, you don't have your game scheduled, make sure you get that slot because they do go fast. So, yeah. From the Melon Patch has been Vagabond and the Mustache.